Imagine walking into a huge temple in ancient Egypt. The walls are covered with colorful paintings. You see tall figures with animal heads, wearing crowns and holding special symbols. These are the gods of ancient Egypt. The Egyptians believed these powerful beings controlled everything: sunlight, floods, farming, sickness, even death. The gods were part of their everyday life. The ancient Egyptians believed in many gods. This is called polytheism. Each god had a special job. Some ruled over nature, like the sun or river. Others protected people, judged the dead, or gave wisdom. Some gods looked like humans, but many had the heads of animals. This helped people tell them apart and remember what they were in charge of. One of the most important gods was Ra, the sun god. He was the king of the gods and brought light to the world. Egyptians believed Ra sailed across the sky each day in a boat. At night he traveled through the underworld, where he had to fight off a giant snake called Apophis. If Ra won, the sun rose again. Ra had the head of a falcon and a glowing sun disk on top of his head. Since the sun gave life to the land, Ra was deeply respected. Another important god was Osiris. He was the god of the afterlife and ruled the land of the dead. Osiris was shown with green skin to represent new life, and he wore a white crown with feathers. He was once a great king who was killed by his brother Set. After his death, he became the ruler of the underworld. Egyptians believed Osiris welcomed good souls into the afterlife and judged them fairly. Horus, the sky god, was Osiris's son. He had the head of a falcon and sharp eyes. Egyptians believed Horus watched over the land and protected the pharaoh, who was thought to be the living form of Horus on earth. Horus is famous for fighting his uncle, Set, to avenge his father's death. After many battles, Horus became the protector of Egypt. Set, or Seth, was the god of chaos, storms, and violence. He brought confusion and disorder. Set was often shown with the head of a strange creature with a long snout and square ears. Even though he was feared, Set also had an important job. He helped Ra fight off the great snake Apophis during the sun's night journey. Anubis was the god of mummification and the guardian of tombs. He had the head of a black jackal. Since jackals were often seen around cemeteries, people believed Anubis protected the dead. He helped prepare bodies for the afterlife and guided souls through the underworld. Anubis also helped in the weighing of the heart, a test to see if a soul was pure enough to reach the afterlife. Thoth was the god of writing, knowledge, and wisdom. He had the head of an ibis bird. Thoth kept records of all things and was believed to have invented writing. In the afterlife, he wrote down the results of the heart-weighing test. Scribes and scholars prayed to Thoth for help with reading and learning. Hapi was the god of the Nile River and its yearly flood. Every year the Nile flooded and left rich soil behind. This helped crops grow and gave life to the land. People gave thanks to Hapi for this great gift. He was shown as a plump, happy figure with flowing water plants on his head. Another important god was Khnum. He was believed to have created humans on a potter's wheel from clay taken from the Nile. Khnum was also a god of the river and helped control the flow of water. He had the head of a ram and was worshipped in places where the Nile began to flood. Temples were built across Egypt to honor the gods. Inside, priests cared for statues of the gods, giving them offerings of food, drink, and incense. Only priests could go inside the temple's inner rooms. Ordinary people stayed outside, but still prayed, left gifts, and showed respect. Some families had small shrines at home with statues of their favorite gods. Each city in Egypt had its own special god. In Thebes, people worshipped Amun. In Memphis, they honored Ptah. Even though people across Egypt believed in many of the same gods, each place had its own traditions. The gods of ancient Egypt were not just stories, they were part of daily life. People prayed to them for health, safety, rain, or success in their work. They believed the gods were always watching, always listening, and always helping. That is why the gods were painted on tomb walls, carved into statues, and remembered for thousands of years.